Hi, everyone. Good evening, depending on where you are joining us from the universe, the world. It's nighttime where I'm at, and clearly we can see from the light it's daytime where Harry is. I am Ella,
And I'm Harry.
and you are watching Ella and Harry go live. And this evening, we are just going to be talking about some current events and just having a conversation.
All right, so let's go ahead and kick it off. As you probably already know, the Derek Chauvin trial has finally ended, and he was charged on all three of his counts against George Floyd. So, I think it was pretty clear in the video, uh, like uh, like what was going to happen. Basically, the evidence is all there, but there is a history of police not being charged for crimes just because of was it diplomatic immunity. But I think I'm happy that justice was served.
Yeah.
Ella, what are your thoughts?
No, agreed. I think that justice was served. I think that there is a long way to go, just looking at history, but I do think that this is movement in the right direction. So I hope, the Floyd family, his family will never have him back. They can't embrace him, they can't hold him, and what happened was tragic. But I hope that, this, it's just such a big moment moving in the right direction. I hope that this brings them at least some feeling that justice has been served. I know that he wasn't sentenced, so that is the next. I'm guessing that's the next step in this. I believe it'll be about 2 months before sentencing, so it will be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yes, I'm also very curious about the sentencing, just to see if the punishment fits the crime, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah, and it's been I just real I see they have the date that he died on there, May 25th of 2020. We were kind of in the height, like I know we were still, to me, it felt like still the beginning of the pandemic, even though it was May. But I definitely remember when, George Floyd, when he was murdered. I remember that, just watching it on the news, and, just the emotions that I felt around it. It was just an unfortunate incident that occurred, and here we are a little bit less, like a month shy of a year, and the officer has been found guilty.
Yeah, it is actually really crazy to think about, especially when you think about all the protests and the riots that were happening across the country. Like, it's hard to believe that that was um, almost a year ago at this point. So,
Yeah.
and speaking of the trial, earlier this week, I saw this in headlines. I wasn't really 100% sure what she was saying. I'll go to the text and the article in a bit, but basically, they were saying that Maxine Waters' comments could have basically messed up the trial to make the trial a mistrial. And I went to the comments and I was curious, like, what she was saying, like, if she was um, inciting violence or anything like that. Let's see if I can find it. But it sounded like basically she was just trying to say, we have to. Here, this is what she says. She says, Water on the weekend had called for protesters to stay on the street and get more confrontational. Uh, we've got to stay in the streets and demand justice. So to me, this is just like, I think just general society holding uh, the law accountable for the trial. Like I don't think she's actually calling for violence in any of this. Um, but I guess people were concerned initially about the comments. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think that she was inciting, just my opinion. I don't think that she was inciting violence with that. I think that she was just offering, you know, letting people know they have to continue to stay out there. They have to continue to protest. She didn't say anything about violence. She didn't call for violence. I don't see in some of these articles, like just the impact of the word, like the titles that they use, that comments may be grounds for appeal. Like I really feel like sometimes it's reaching. Yeah, so I don't agree with that. And I thought that when juries, when you're on a jury, like you're not supposed to watch like certain things or like talk about the trial and stuff. I don't know, maybe
Right.
that's something I just saw in movies, but
Like,
I don't know how she would have influenced that in any way.
so I think what the judge is trying to say is since she's like an influential person, that she could potentially like, you know, sway the trial either left or right, even if like even if in the courtroom everything was already out of Chavin's favor, somehow what she was gonna say is like gonna make it even more out of his favor. I don't know, but
You know what? I hope that Auntie Maxine reclaims her time
I
she had to sit in since she made this statement trying to explain herself. Like it, that's yeah.
agreed, agreed. All right. So, and a lot of these articles are based around the George Floyd Chauvin trial, just because like that's the biggest news, and
Yep.
it was actually hard to not find something that was talking about it. So this is why the subject is here. So the next article I found was Biden and Harris slam systemic racism in the US and say the Chauvin guilty verdict is a giant step toward racial justice. So I kind of have to disagree. And I'm not saying that you know, I don't live with this like victim mentality or anything like that, but just as the article says, like on the face value of the article, it is just like I don't believe that. I don't believe that as a statement that this is like a giant step forward. Um, I don't I'm not going to be super specific about it, but I mean you just be the judge. You be the judge if that is uh the first step forward to end uh or sorry, to begin racial justice for um I guess aggressive policing, we'll call it that.
Yeah. So I as I think I stated earlier, we have a long way to go. I think that we've come a long way, but we have a very long way to go in this country. Um, it's a step forward. I think I'll leave my thoughts there. I think it's a step forward, but I do think that the country's come a long way and it has a long way to go. Now, when you're comparing his statement to the past administration, maybe we have come a giant, but it's a step forward.
So I do, I agree in this aspect that usually police officers are not charged because of diplomatic immunity. So I will say from that aspect of it, it is a step forward, and maybe it is like the next step to kind of hold officers more responsible for the things that they do.
No, I do agree. Anyone should, I do agree that people should be held accountable for their actions. And again, just I think today it's a step forward in the system. And officers, he wasn't able to hide behind that immunity. So,
Right.
yeah, this is one of so many. And I know one is a start. You know, it's a start. You start somewhere, you take your first step, and then you take thousands without even realizing you're running. So it's a step, but there were so many crawls and falls behind it. So yeah.
Agreed. So on to lighter news. I actually saw this earlier this week. So Jaleel White, i.e. Steve Urkel, is launching his own cannabis brand. And I guess he has what would you, it's not a flavor, but he has like one of his products is purple Urkel. And you know, like marijuana has different varieties. That's what I meant to say. So he has a variety, and one of the varieties is called purple Urkel. So I thought it was pretty funny. What do you think about the cannabis industry, Ella?
I think that it's growing. A lot of states, it seems like, and I don't know how many, I can't spew out which ones, but it seems like laws are relaxing a little bit, becoming more lenient in terms of cannabis and marijuana, but it still is illegal on a federal level. So it will be interesting to see over the next few years what happens to it on a federal level, but it seems, and I'm also curious as more states legalize, whether it be medical marijuana or recreational marijuana, I am interested to see how it impacts those states, like as far as revenue, like that they're getting from it. So that will be interesting to see. But I do know that it is a business. There are some celebrities that have launched their own kind of cannabis brand or promote certain brands. So, but I think that's a good for him, the Purple Urkel, since he's known as Steve Urkel.
Yeah, it's definitely a good brand move.
Thinking, I wonder if he's like using Tilray or Aurora. Like, is their stock going to go up? I don't know. Is it time to invest?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, oh, actually, that's a good transition point. Stocks. Okay. Good job. So last week, Bitcoin went public on Wednesday. And I remember telling you guys that I was going to buy Bitcoin, and I did. And I should have sold it within its first like 4 minutes of it being public because it peaked all the way to $430. And I was up $1,700 at the time. And then I kept it because I swore it was going to the moon. Like I was like, there's no stopping this thing. It's 4 minutes and this thing is already exploding out the gate. And then it started going down. And I was like, oh, well, it's only going down because, you know, the initial holders, they're selling their stock now. Like they see that it's peaked. So now they're trying to grab a profit. So those are like the original holders that are selling. So, but it's still going to the moon. So I'm going to keep it. And then it went down again and it kept going down all the way until like my $1,700 profit shrank to $170. And I was like, and I was like, okay, I'm not losing any money today. So I sold it and I took my $150 profit and it kept on going down. But actually, earlier this week, I can't remember if it was earlier this week or late last week, I was like, okay, well, the stock has settled now. Everyone who's going to sell has sold. So I'm going to I'm just going to buy a little bit in there. So I bought again, this time at 345 a share, thinking like it's settled, but it still kept going down. And now it's actually settled. So it's been sitting at $320 a share for like the last week. And this is probably when I actually should have bought it. I don't think I'll buy any more, but I'll definitely be holding this because I still have faith in Coinbase. But yeah, um, stocks are they're a fun. They can be fun and they can be adventurous and they can give you a good adrenaline rush. But you should definitely maintain a sound mind when you're dealing with all of that stuff. So
Yeah, definitely. And no financial advice, but definitely maintain a sound mind and, have realistic expectations. It's fun to have unrealistic expectations sometimes. Like, I'm not selling my AMC for any less than 10,000 a share. Yeah, right. But they can be fun, but you do have to have realistic expectations, and it's, sometimes it's a gamble, and knowing when to fold, what is it, and know when to hold them,
yeah.
know when to walk away, and know when to run.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe in Coinbase, so we'll see. And I think this is gonna inspire some of the other crypto exchanges to go public. Like I know Binance is one of them, so we'll see. And Binance is actually like the largest one. Bitcoin is just the largest one in the United States.
Yeah.
So but that's all I have for current events today. Ella, do you have anything?
No, but I did have a question for you. So,
Okay.
like, has the way your stocks are doing, like you saw it up 1700, did that like dictate your mood in that moment? Did you find yourself like extra cheery? And then as you saw it go down, like your mood just kind of shifted to like, I don't want to be bothered?
So I'm not gonna lie, my mood that day, like I was so pumped. Like I was like, this thing is going to the moon. So like once it went all the way up to $430, I was like, this is validation. This is everything that I thought I was gonna do. This is validation. And I didn't lose any money, so I wasn't feeling bad. What I was feeling was disappointed that I didn't sell at the peak, that I just kept on holding on with my diamond hands and just kept watching it down or watching it go down. But I was like, at the end of the day, I got out with a $150 profit, and I was thankful for that. So, but I was disappointed that I didn't sell earlier.
No, I think that's good. You did get out with a profit, but I also find myself feeling disappointed at times, like when I see the stock doing well and it's like, oh, I'm just going to hold it. It's only up from here. They said we were going to this is going to the moon. So we're on the ship and we're going up. So I'm holding, diamond hands, apes riding together to the moon. And even when it starts to go down, like I won't sell. So I'm like, okay, it's just a dip. It's going to go back up. And no, now, with quite a few of my stocks, I'm just at a point where you can't sell it. You can't, you got no profit from it. You might owe some money at the end of the day. But again, I'm no financial advisor. And for me, I enjoy the stocks. The stocks.
I also enjoy the stocks.
And I really like cryptocurrency. That's I've been into Bitcoin for a while now, but now just kind of expanding that to the other ones. So I do not have anything else. What about you?
I also do not have anything else. It's been a great episode.
Yeah, no, it has. And thank you to all of our million of viewers for tuning in tonight on Harry and Ella Go Live. We will see you sometime within the next week or two or three or four, or like last time, maybe five. But
Depending on how our schedules go, depending on how much we're investing in ourselves, because time we don't have a lot of time sometimes because we're investing in ourselves. But yes.
Exactly. Becoming our best selves for us so that we can be there for you. And who knows how long. But anyhow, thank you and have a good night. Bye.
Good night, everybody.